So guys, just yesterday, the all-new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek was unveiled in Japan, and it's pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be. So why is it such a letdown? So guys, just yesterday, September the 15th, Subaru of Japan held a live event unveiling the all-new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. And as I stated before, it's pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be based on the camouflage spy photos and artist renderings from those camouflage spy photos and videos. So why is it that I feel disappointed, and some of you in the comments on the post about the unveiling yesterday feel the same? So the Subaru Crosstrek has pretty much held the same formula since its introduction back in 2013. It has gone through very slight revisions and modifications, staying core to what it was originally, a small hatchback, four-door, compact SUV. And a lot of people really like the Crosstrek. It's one of Subaru's top 3 best-selling vehicles. I bought a 2013 Crosstrek a few years ago, as you know, and I absolutely love the car. I'm just shy of 225,000 miles on the vehicle, and it has been one of the best Subarus I have owned out of probably a good 50 Subaru vehicles over my ownership of Subaru cars. So this new Subaru being unveiled, I don't know, it just felt a little bit disappointing, even though it was very predictable for the Crosstrek and its lineage to date, and what we knew based on, like I said, the camouflage vehicle. So there are revisions to the front bumper, to the headlights, the tail lights, but overall, the car still has its same shape. Nothing dramatically has changed on it. Looking at the exterior of the car, we see, of course, new wheel options, which you would expect from a next-generation vehicle. We see some carryover from the new WRX, looking at those fender claddings with the vents in them, very similar, if not the exact same, as the new WRX. We see revision to the headlights and the front bumper. Now, I do like that the Crosstrek has the big round fog lights. That's a throwback to Subaru heritage with the big fog lights, WRC racing, all the goodness that I love about Subaru. But those weird little gills, those little C-shaped pieces on either side of the bumper, I'm just not digging it. What do you guys think about it? It's very similar to the look of the new Outback, which also I'm not a big fan of. I like that they put the round fog lights back on, but that C-shape, that grille, that gill-looking look to the sides, I'm not a big fan of. It looks like a lot of Toyota influences there. Looking back at, say, the Camry, the Sienna, some of these other models that started that, you know, about 5 to 10 years ago, it seems like Toyota design is creeping more and more into the Subaru vehicles. Now, overall, not a lot is known on the car because, oddly enough, Subaru of America is quiet. Nothing. Subaru's Instagram, their YouTube channel, Facebook, all of the socials, they've posted absolutely nothing about the new Crosstrek. Just checked before starting the video. They did post about Crosstreks the day of the unveiling, but they did not mention the next generation. So are we going to have a delay before the US talks about the Crosstrek and the specs? Looking at Subaru Japan's website on their, unveiling of the car, we see the outside pictures, we talk about the interior, the design, all of this good stuff, but when we get down to the bottom of the web page, there is an asterisk and it does say prototype vehicle. Now, this doesn't really look like a prototype vehicle to me. This looks like a production-ready car. There have been several videos released just today. I guess the press are allowed to talk about the car now, but all of the videos so far are, of course, Japanese, and I cannot find them with subtitles, and my Japanese isn't that good, so I can only make out what I can see. So overall, the exterior is not that bad. Again, the front bumper styling is a little weird. The headlights and grille are fine. Side profile, great. Still got the roof rack, all that's good. The back is a little funky. The taillights aren't bad, but the little triangles there on the back bumper, that's a little too much, in my opinion, which is odd to say that because Subaru was known for crazy over-the-top designs and being quirky, and they mellowed out for a good almost 15 years now, and they become kind of bland. So to see them go with the Crosstrek to something quirky and odd again is kind of weird feeling now. You know, that back in the bug-eye days would have been normal Subaru, but now it just feels odd from how bland and toned down Subaru's been. But overall, it's still a Crosstrek and not much has changed. Now, one big thing that I do not like is in the interior of the car. Overall, the interior, dash, door panels, all that stuff looks very, very similar to the current generation of Crosstrek. But the big issue for me is that honking touchscreen in the middle of the car. Now, I know a lot of you guys love technology, you love infotainment, you love the tablets in the dashboard, you love all the features. My issue with the stuff is it dates the car. Look at cars just a few years ago with touchscreens and things and how horribly outdated they are. People disparage my 2013 Crosstrek, that generation, for its touchscreen nav screen because of how unresponsive it is, how slow it is, the fact that there's no longer updates for the map system. Just think about that. It's all new and flashy now, but 5-10 years from now, it's going to be outdated, old, slow, and without any more service or updates. That's one thing I hate about the technology being put into cars, is just the fact that it dates cars and makes them older quicker because of how rapidly technology is expanding, is evolving. Just look at your phones. We're throwing away our phones every year for the new flashy model, or our Apple Watch or AirPods or whatever Samsung S series or Note. It's always something new every year. That is translating now into cars and making them more disposable, in my opinion, because the more high dollar options you put in the car, the more likely it is to have issues. And when those issues arise, a larger repair bill is going to come up and be close to totaling out the car just due to the cost of repairs. Now, as always, I'm good about getting off on tangents, and that was one of them. Now, with this new Crosstrek, we do have the next generation of the EyeSight system that now uses 3 cameras. The older EyeSight system, as we knew, had the stereo cameras, the big lenses there on either side of the rearview mirror. But the new EyeSight system, as you see in the picture here, has 3 cameras, and the lenses are much smaller for the stereo cameras, and it now has a wide angle there, lower on the windshield in the center, and this is supposed to help with detection of pedestrians around the car, slow-moving vehicles, bikes, and motorcycles. So again, being that Subaru USA is not talking about this car and it's only a Japanese unveiling at this point, we don't have a terribly large amount of information on what we can expect for a power plant for drivetrain in this vehicle. We can look at the exterior styling, we can look at the interior styling, we can look at some of the features, but we don't know what's going to be under the hood. Now, in the Japanese model that they've shown, it's coming with a 2-liter E-Boxer engine. Now, Subaru has not released the E-Boxer for the US yet. They did put this engine in the Forester a few years ago, and now it will be added to the Crosstrek. If it's not in the current market Crosstrek in Japan, I'm not exactly sure. But the main difference is you'll have a battery pack in the back, you have an electric drive motor in the transmission assembly, and there's, I think, an electronic motor / alternator on top of the engine. I just know it's got a weird, gigantic pulley alternator / motor looking something. I've tried looking up specs and information on E-Boxer and how it all works, but come up short. It kind of reminds me of FCA's e-torque system, if I recall correctly, on the Ram trucks and some of the other FCA products, where they've got that honking electric motor there with an extra thick belt drive to the front of the engine. Apparently, This is different than a traditional hybrid system with the e-Boxer because of the way it powers and regenerates and works in conjunction with the gasoline engine. But again, that's probably going to be what they use in the Japanese market. Now, the Japanese market Forester has the 2-liter e-Boxer and it has the 1.8 new turbo engine. Will we see either of these engines in the US in this new Crosstrek? Likely not. We'll likely continue to get the 2-liter, which is the FB20D, and the 2.5-liter, which is the FB25D with direct fuel injection. We might see a little bump in horsepower, but overall, that's probably what we're going to get. Not sure if the 1.8 turbo is going to be in the US at all. Not sure if Subaru USA is going to get that through the approval process for the EPA to run that engine stateside. I think there's also talks of a 1.6 liter in this new Crosstrek, or in the current market Crosstrek. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not up to date on Japanese market engines because I don't see them, I don't work on them. I just know they exist. So as far as the actual drivetrain is concerned, looking at what's going on right now with Subaru Japan and their other models, I can assume that our manual transmission option is now completely gone for the Crosstrek. It looks like the Lineartronic CVT is going to be our only choice. Looking at Forester models, looking at the Legacy, looking at the Lavorge, all these other Japanese market vehicles, I think the only Subaru vehicle in Japan, like normal size car, not talking about K cars or any of the other series, with a manual transmission now will be the BRZ or the WRX, since the STI has been slain. So guys, there you have it, a quick rundown and a look at the new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. When will we see it in the US? Will we see it in the US? I hope we will see this new generation of Crosstrek in the US, but Subaru of America's silence on it is a little concerning that maybe they're just going to brush it off and try to implement EVs a lot sooner than expected. But I don't think that's going to be the case, as good of a selling vehicle as the Crosstrek is here for Subaru of America. So guys, what do you think of the new Crosstrek unveil in Japan? What do you think of the overall styling, exterior, interior? What are your speculations on drivetrain? Do you think we're just going to get the 2-liter and the 2.5 as we have now, or do you think we might get that 1.8 turbo or the e-Boxer? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.